The children's word of the year is kindness. It's quite refreshing, isn't it? The children's word of the year, the Oxford University Press children's word of the year, voted I think for by about 3,000 school pupils, is kindness. It's the word they chose. It comes alongside slang words like slay, sigma, and skibbity, whatever that means. You can tell me later, especially if you work in a school. But 61% of children, school children, chose the word kindness. Encouraging, isn't it? And probably all about mental well-being, how they appreciate kindness from other children and teachers and parents. And it's a great Bible word too, isn't it? Kindness. I know it's not here, but I think it's the gist of the kind of love that we're looking at. Because when we use the word love, it's a bit vague, isn't it? What do you mean, love? There's a lovely word in the Old Testament. It's actually a combined word, loving kindness. Loving kindness. I think that's what we're looking at here. It's that kind of active love. That's love in action. More than a feeling, it's love in action. It's not less than a feeling, I hope. It's not less than an affection and a genuine desire to help people, but it is more than a feeling, and it is an action of kindness. Random acts of kindness people talk about sometimes, don't they? It's love for the neighbor. Verse 9. Now, I challenged you last week to think about actually loving your neighbor. Do you love your neighbor? Do you seek to do good to your actual neighbor, the one who lives next door, those who live around you in your block, in your street, wherever? And of course, neighbor does mean, as we know from the parable of the Good Samaritan, or the parable of the Samaritan in Luke chapter 10, I believe, it simply means anyone around you, anyone you bump into, anyone that comes across your path is your neighbor. So that will include your actual neighbors. It also, of course, includes your family members. They're your closest neighbors, aren't they? Really, the people closest to you, physically as well as emotionally. And that's important to say, isn't it? Because sometimes we treat strangers with more respect than we do our own family. With more patience, with more tolerance, with more kindness than we do our own family. It was Martin Luther who pointed out that his wife was his nearest neighbor, so the command to love your neighbor has to start with her. And in our families it's the same. And we're told to love how? We're to love as we love ourselves. And this is not a command to love ourselves. This is not a third. Jesus spoke of two great commandments, didn't he? Love God with all your heart and love your neighbor as yourself. He didn't add a third, and make sure you love yourself. I'm not asking here or calling here for self-hatred, but there's no command as such to love yourself. What it means, I think, when the Bible says love your neighbor as you love, or as much as or as well as you love yourself, is that we do take care of ourselves, don't we? We do look after ourselves. And in the same way, we should think about our neighbors, those around us. What do they need? How can I do the best for them? That gives it quite a practical angle, doesn't it?